So, I'm recording outside for once, It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, like, out, outside. I usually like to record inside. I usually spend most of my time indoors. Lately I've been so busy that I haven't had time to, like, go out and do things. You know, a lot going on behind the scenes. Anyways, this is, a lot of people like to do these at the end of the year and stuff. Um, I feel like these are going to be films that are going to be underrated. People are going to look at 2020. They're going to be like, that was the year of no movies. But listen, guys, this isn't like 20, 30 years ago where there is no films because they're not releasing in theaters. We live in a time where there's more movies coming out from more directors, indie people work in the industry more than ever before. And so, like, I'm actually super into, like, indie stuff, and so, like, of course, I've seen a lot of really good films this year that probably a lot of people wouldn't have seen, and because of everything going on, they don't know these things that are happening because, most people are aware of just the big movies. But this is why we have to be aware of the smaller movies, because these are all we're getting currently right now and for the foreseeable future. Not all, and some of these movies are just movies that released on streaming services and things that over the last few months. People haven't seen these films a lot. Well, at least some of you may have heard these films, some of you may not. But I thought I'd assemble a list of kind of underrated films of 2020 to show, like, hey, yes, there's still good films out there that I think you should definitely check out. Some ambitious projects, some interesting stuff. I'm not going to do a top 10 because, frankly, I'm not good with top 10s. I don't know why. As soon as you put the number 10 on something, I can't make a list. But top 5, I could definitely do that. Let's start the list. First up is the one and only Ivan. This is probably the one film that most people will have heard of. It's still not very popular. This movie is not great, but it's got a good cast. It's got Danny DeVito. It's got Bryan Cranston. A lot of great actors within this film. It's not a great film. It's a fun enough, enjoyable watch. This is a Disney Plus original film. A lot of people don't know this, but this film was actually a film that was intended to go to theaters this year. I think it was back in September or August, something like that, and it got pushed back because of the pandemic. This was a smart move because this movie, I don't know how well this film would have done in theaters. It's not a terrible film, and just being able to watch it at home kind of makes me go, yeah, that's what this film is kind of made for. Perfect Disney Plus movie. One of the better ones we've gotten this year. I think the other better one we've gotten is Hamilton. But Hamilton's not on this list because I know people that specifically got Disney Plus to watch Hamilton. Hamilton, some people don't consider a film either. I like it. I respect the movie. I don't love it. It's not typically my thing, so it's not on this list for those reasons. But I do think this is a definitely good film to check out if you have Disney Plus already. I wouldn't say it's like, oh, if you don't have Disney Plus, get it for this movie, but I will say that if you have it already and haven't watched it, definitely check this film out. Number 4 spot, I'm just gonna let this go to all of the DC animated movies besides one of them that's on this list, because DC animated movies already don't get enough credit. They're direct-to-video films, of course, the direct-to-video films, but they're good ones. They're the animation quality to them is not like some great masterpiece of cinema. It's not some great piece. Of course, these films they're kind of low budget, cheaper movies. They're a lot better than the ones we get in theaters because they're able to adapt the comics more closely. Sometimes they really screwed up, like Batman Hush was not very good. But even that one, it has its merits. These films all have their merits. They have a good approach to the characters majority of the time. They're at least interesting and just stuff you would never see in a movie. If you really like DC characters, check these out. If you don't like DC characters, this won't sway your mind on them. Or if you're not really interested in DC characters, I would never recommend these as your jump into those characters and their world, because these really aren't that. There's not a lot of origins to the characters within these movies. You're kind of just thrown into these stories with these characters. And if you already like the characters, cool. If you don't, sorry. But I still recommend these. Now, I said with one exception because there's one that is so good that I think it deserved a spot on its own in this list. I'll talk about when I get to number 2. Number 3 is... It's really hard to say what number 3 is, but I gotta go with just frankly any older movie. And I know older movies didn't come out a lot. Older movies, they're older movies. They didn't come out in 2020, but I feel like older movies are what we should be watching while we're stuck indoors. You know, trying to experience things from the past and being like, yeah. Because that's the future. So I wanted to put those here because I feel like older films are not given enough credit anymore, and being able, and you have a good opportunity to watch them, and you should watch them. But if you want an actual thing on this list, The Social Dilemma from Netflix. I didn't love that documentary, but it's pretty good. It has its issues, it has a lot of problems with it, but I actually gave it a pretty negative review, but that was just my personal experience. In some ways, it's still a great documentary, and you should check it out. That's also, I think documentaries in general this year are things that are going to go over the radar, because documentaries always go under the radar, because people are like, documentaries are boring, which, not if you get a good one, so... Alright, so number 2 is Superman Red Son. Superman Red Son is a fantastic story. If you've ever read the comic, and you love Superman or just love DC characters in general, there's no reason that you shouldn't have. This is one of the best Superman stories ever written. It has so much to say about how the countries were raised in, our idealized versions of our countries were raised and affect us. Interesting questions and moralities. I'm not going to say too much about it because I feel like you should watch this film even if you're not a DC fan. I said with the other ones, not so much. This one I do say, do check it out. It's fantastic. The ideas it's presenting are fascinating. They're very thought-provoking ideas. As a huge Superman fan, I absolutely love these incredible films. They're not the greatest animated, but the voice acting, animation, and stories, incredible. Check them out. So number 1 is Evil Takes Root. I actually had someone involved with the production of this movie, or was a distributor. I'm not exactly sure. If you're watching this video, let me know. How are you affiliated with this movie? I forgot to ask you that. I really appreciate you commenting and sharing my video. I absolutely appreciate it. I love this film. It's creepy. It's horrific. It's thought-provoking. It's unique. It's different. One of the best films I think I've seen in the last 10 years when it comes to direct-to-video stuff. This is a new independent horror movie. It's released by Mill Creek Entertainment, one of my favorite distributors releasing home media, and if you should definitely check out their work and the stuff that they distributed. Fantastic film. If you want to watch it, they have their digital service, Movie Spree. I believe you can rent it there, or if you don't want to rent it, you can buy it for $10 at Walmart on DVD. There is no Blu-ray. There is a talks of Burn on Demand Blu-ray at some point, but it may or may not happen. If it does, I will let you know, and I will be picking it up. Probably do an unboxing, and maybe do another video talking about how good it looks in Blu-ray quality, because I absolutely love the film. Like I said, absolutely incredible film. One of the best films I've seen all year. One of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time, if we're talking independent stuff. Of course, I don't watch that many independent horror movies, to be honest. I should watch more, you're right, but I don't. So, definitely check that film out. I love one of my favorite films of the year.